Imagine you're ready to sell your business. Now, Brian, a friend of mine, was in exactly that position. He had built a profitable company and was excited to finally move on. So I introduced him to an investor looking for a business his size. Well, after the due diligence, the investor walked away because he realized that without Brian, he'd have to run it. Well, Brian was hugely disappointed. And that's the ultimate key person discount. No deal. And the loss of time and freedom. So in this video, you'll discover the hidden rule buyers use to decide whether they need to apply the key person discount, the three questions they ask themselves about a company they're considering acquiring, and finally, what it might cost you beyond delaying your freedom. But first, you might be wondering what exactly is a key person discount. So assume you just bought a successful business and the ink on the deal is barely dry. The former owner, he's already on vacation of a lifetime, but you're having to call him 3 times a day because employees still need their answers that you don't have, and key customers only want to deal with him. And finally, one of your largest customers just walked out. Why? Because the previous owner wasn't there. So now ask yourself a really simple question. Is that company still worth what you paid for it? See, that risk is exactly what buyers are trying to measure when they think about the key person discount. Now, if this is hitting close to home, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments how long you could step away before your team needs you. So Brian recognized that without management in place, that pool of potential buyers was so small that he asked me to join his company. Shortly after I started, he took his 2-week vacation. Now, during those 2 weeks, we spoke constantly. It was hardly a vacation for him. And that's when I realized just how involved in every aspect of the business he was. After he returned, I wanted to customize our CRM for efficiency. And because it required a sizable investment, I asked Brian. He responded, "Why are you asking me?" It was then I realized that he didn't really want to make all the decisions, but no one felt comfortable taking charge. After that, I stopped asking when I wanted to make a significant investment, and instead, I informed him. And as I assumed more responsibility, people started coming to me instead of Brian. And soon I realized I was spending way too much time handling the small decisions and not planning the company's growth. And that's when I understood why that buyer had walked away. See, due diligence really comes down to one question. Will this company still be as successful when I take over? To determine that, buyers look for signals, and those signals usually come down to three very simple questions. One, do the people closest to the work have the authority to make the decisions that affect how it gets done? Now, if they do, they go on to ask a second question. Do they still ask the owner for permission or what to do, or do they inform them what they've already decided? And finally, if the owner disappeared for a month, would the business keep running? Now, behind those three questions is a very simple economic principle buyers quietly follow, and I call it the law of decision concentration. When decisions concentrate in one person, the value disappears with them. In other words, if the business only works because the owner is there making those important decisions, the value of that company walks out the door the moment the owner does. That's the hidden rule behind the key person discount. Now, the good news is this problem can be solved. As Brian stepped away from day to day decisions and focused on what he loved most, in his case, marketing, the company began to grow and flourish. The following summer, he took the same 2-week vacation. This time, we only spoke once or twice, and those were calls he placed because he was checking in, not because I needed to check in with him. Well, 2 years later, he sold that company to a strategic buyer, and the price was 40% higher than I, as president of the company, was willing to pay for it. That's the real cost of the key person discount. And studies suggest it can reduce a company's value by around 20%. And sometimes it shows up through very restrictive deal terms. For many founders and family business owners, the company represents about 75% of their net worth. That means the key person discount can quietly destroy a huge portion of the wealth you spent years building. Now, eliminating the key person discount can dramatically improve your valuation and your deal terms. However, if you want to maximize what actually ends up in your pocket, you also have to maintain profitable growth while doing it. One of the biggest hidden threats to that growth is something Bain calls organizational drag. Now, watch my video on organizational drag to discover how it quietly slows growth and how great leaders eliminate it. And if you're wondering how the best companies systematically solve both problems, organizational drag and key person discount, watch my video on whether executive coaching is actually worth it.